You're watching Let the Quran Speak. Everyone wants the good life or wants to live the good life, but people differ about what that actually means. Some people say it means material satisfaction. Other people say power, glory, perhaps even happiness. God seems to set a different standard of the good life, and Brother Shabir will look at that now. Different philosophers have had different understandings of the good life. People in modern times have different understandings. What does God say about the good life?
Well, the Quran obviously is a book from God, and it tells us how we are to live our lives in a way that will accomplish the very purpose for which we are created. So that's what the good life is about. God tells us about the hayatan tayyibah. If we are to obey God and do what He directs us to do, then He will give us a hayatan tayyibah, a good life in this world, and then in the life hereafter, He's going to give us everlasting happiness. So that still leaves open the question,
so
what exactly
is
that good life? It seems from reading the entire Quran that the good life would be characterized by faithfulness to God and service to humanity. These two things together would characterize that life which is a hayatan tayyibah, a good life. Now, in what sense would this be a good life? Because you mentioned some of the things that people generally hope for. Maybe happiness, friends, good times, prestige,
sort of thing.
Status, wealth as well. But in the end, you see, people reach a certain finishing line at the end of their lives. It's almost like they've run a race, they've come to the end, and they're asking, well, what have I achieved? What have I really done with my life? Have I fulfilled what I was here to do? So you go to work, you clock in, you're going to clock out. But at the time of clocking out, does it ever occur to you, did I do what I was here to do? And that's very important. Now, at the time of clocking out from this life, the question occurs, did I do what I was here to do? Surely I might have amassed a lot of wealth, I might have gotten a lot of good friends, I might have acquired some status and respect in society, but is that what I was here to do? So the good life that is characterized in the Quran is in fact a fulfillment of that which we were here to do. God says in the Quran that He has created human beings to worship Him. And worship does not mean it's just simply being in a corner or on a mountain top.
In solitude.
In solitude, and just simply remembering God or invoking His glorious name. But in the Islamic conception of things, the worship of God is a whole life lived in faithfulness to God and in service to humanity. So it's a
God-centered life in some ways.
Yes, it is a God-centered life that is also overflowing with respect for other human beings and service to other humans.
So does it give an individual satisfaction then? I mean, when we think of, let's say, wealth or other things, we can think of somebody achieving satisfaction. Does a good life in religious terms give an individual satisfaction?
Yes, because at the end of it, you may have a lot of wealth, but if you feel at the end of it as you're exiting this world that, this is not really what I was here for, so what's the purpose of that? In fact, you're going to leave the wealth anyhow. The beautiful car, the magnificent home, all of the beautiful family members, the lovely friends, all of these are going to be left behind when you exit this world. But what you're going to be exiting with is that very sense of satisfaction. I did what I was here to do, and that to me is the really the fulfillment of the whole life of effort and struggle.
The good life seems to be different for religious individuals because it seems like it's a means to another life, which is supposed to be better.
True. There is that hope for the life hereafter, which does make every moment of suffering and difficulty in this life all meaningful and full of purpose. Having said that, and without detracting from our hope for the good things of the life hereafter, the Quran does speak of the hayatan tayyibah, the good life here, and we spoke about some of the aspects of that good life. I don't want to deny that the good good life for the Muslim and for the faithful believer will also involve some of the other things we mentioned: a beautiful home, a nice car, and friends, and status, and wealth, and all of these.
So those are not counter to the principle of Islam, then?
It's definitely not counter to the principle of Islam. In fact, they are welcome and they are harmonized within the whole. But we have to differentiate between the goal and the necessities of life. So there is a goal in life. That fulfilling that goal is really the cap and the summit of achieving the good life. But there are necessities of life. And Islam does not deny the necessities of life. If Islam recognizes that we are wholesome human beings, we are body, mind, and spirit, and all of these have to be fulfilled. So all of the physical needs of a human being have to be catered for as well. And fulfilling those physical needs, enjoying the fulfillment of those physical needs, all of that is within the ambit of our religion. But we just have to keep in mind the distinction between the goal and the necessity. So acquiring some wealth, acquiring good things around us, all of these are necessities of life. And they're good things to have, but they're not the goal of our lives. And if we make those things the goal of our lives, this is where disappointment sets in as we are ready to exit and clock out from this world.
One of the very interesting things about the good life within the religious tradition, as opposed to, let's say, the pursuit of wealth or success or other things, is that it's achievable by any individual, it seems. Whether man or woman, whether one is poor or rich, regardless of socioeconomic situation, one can achieve the good life in this life.
Absolutely, and you're right about the other things. People may hope and dream and may not actually acquire what they hope and dream for, if it be the things of this world. There is a saying in the hadith that if the child of Adam was given a valley full of gold, he would desire a second, and if he were given the second, he would desire a third. In fact, another hadith speaks about the hopes of human beings being far into the future. His vision, is far-reaching, and yet his life will be cut short and he won't achieve what he desires. So the desires for the things of this world will always be something ahead of us, like a carrot dangling from a stick, that we will never fully achieve. But the achievement of what we're describing as the good life, which is the satisfaction that a person has from being faithful to God and serving humanity, this can be achieved by anybody. And any viewer of this show, any listener to our message can actually decide here and now that, this is what I want to do. I want to be faithful to God. I want to serve human beings. And that individual from this point onwards can actually turn his or her life around and achieve this this very moment.
Now, do Muslims believe that it's possible to achieve the good life without submitting to God? Like, for example, doing good works, charity, or other things, service to human beings?
Well, since the good life we have defined as involving faithfulness to God and service to humanity, so it needs both.
It needs both.
If one says, I'm just simply faithful to God but not serving humanity, then something is entirely lacking here. If somebody is serving humanity but being not faithful to God, then of course again something is lacking.
All right, thank you for that, Brother Shabir.
You're welcome.
We'll take a break. When we return, we answer questions we've received from you, our viewers.